One of those immediate pressures you talk about is housing. Who needs to give a bit to break this stalemate in the Senate? What do you need to do? What do the Greens need to do to just get this through?
Well, we have provided, we have moved in the negotiations around the Housing Australia Future Fund, and Julie Collins is doing a terrific job trying to get this through the Parliament. Should say good morning to Jackie on her way past. Morning, Jackie. How are you? Nice to see you. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thanks very much. Yeah, we appreciate your support for housing, Jackie. Thank you.
And I'll tell you what, the sooner we get that foundation down, the better.
Yeah.
Every day those Greens stop that is every day those people out there living in those bloody tents.
Couldn't have said it better. We do appreciate Jackie Lambie's support for the Housing Australia Future Fund, and we are trying to work constructively with the Senate crossbench to get this passed. You know, it beggars belief, frankly, when we've got all this pressure on housing, that the Greens and the Coalition have teamed up in this unholy alliance against the building of more social and affordable housing. You know, it beggars belief, frankly. And so we want to get that passed through the Parliament. We've also got new tax breaks for build-to-rent properties in the budget that I handed down on Tuesday night, and that'll be important to build more affordable properties. And we're helping people with Commonwealth rent assistance, the biggest increase in 30 years. Chloe.
Could your budget tip the scales for another interest rate rise?
Well, I don't speak for the Independent Reserve Bank, and they weigh up a whole range of considerations, not just a government's budget. They weigh up the international conditions. They weigh up what's been happening, for example, to retail in the last couple of retail releases, which have been very soft. And they factor all of that in. I don't speak on behalf of the Reserve Bank or the board, but I do know this. The budget is carefully calibrated to take the edge off cost of living pressures without adding to inflation. I'm confident that that is the case. The Treasury is confident that that is the case, and a number of economists have backed us in.
Will there be a second?
Let's go Chloe again, and then we'll go ahead. No worries.
The Reserve Bank is independent, but do you consult them at all on the budget and say, hey, what do you think this would do for inflation and how would this affect your own?
Well, I don't speak to them about their future interest rate decisions. I don't think it's appropriate with the independence that I cherish. I don't speak to them or try and influence their interest rate decisions, but I do speak to the Governor about my policies, about my budgets and the fiscal stance of the government. I do that in advance of releasing the budget, and I do it after releasing the budget. That is entirely appropriate. I think it would actually be negligent if I didn't do that. I speak to the Governor from time to time. I speak to him about what I'm doing. I don't try and influence what he's doing.
Sorry to sneak up on you for a moment.
That's all right.
Will there be a second surplus next year? Some analysts reckon you've undercooked some of the, or not maybe under-egged some of the commodity prices in the budget.
Well, I'm not going to write and release the 2024 budget a couple of days after releasing the 2023 budget. I've seen that commentary and I acknowledge that commentary. I think there are good reasons to be cautious and conservative and careful and to not get ahead of ourselves when it comes to some of those assumptions. You know, I hope that you've noticed in the course of the last week or so that I take a different approach to my predecessor when it comes to the budget position. I think it's important to be cautious. There are good historical reasons and other reasons for that to be the case. I'm not walking around here with back and black mugs and handing them out. It's not a big pat on the back when it comes to the forecast surplus for 22-23. I will continue to manage the budget in a responsible and cautious and methodical way, and part of that is not getting ahead of ourselves.